Marrakesh is a colorful and mystic city, full of hidden sights and modern restaurants. But before my recent trip, I've had problems to find a comprehensive travel guide, which would cover all the things I need to know in just one place. So in this video, I'm not only going to cover all the essentials, but will also provide you some insider tips so you can avoid the mistakes I've made. Let's get started. Hi and welcome to my channel. I believe that traveling is the key to our happiness. And I also believe that most of us do not travel as often as we would like to. This travel guide is going to cover everything you need to know so that you can spend less time researching and more time traveling. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hit the bell button so that you are notified the next time I upload a new video. These are the topics I will cover today: weather and currency, flights, transportation and mobile internet, sites, food, photos, videos and safety, and budget. Marrakesh is one of the best known cities in Morocco, a North African country. Marrakesh is actually not very far from the Atlas Mountains, so you will have a very beautiful background while you're in the city. So when should you travel to Marrakesh? Based on the information on Google, most people visit the city in April or May, and temperatures can be extremely high between July and August. So you probably want to avoid those months. I recommend traveling to Marrakesh in the winter, between January and March. During my trip in January, it was always sunny. However, please keep in mind that it will be mild in the mornings and warm during the day. So you probably want to take multiple layers so that you can amend to the weather throughout the day. The local currency is a Moroccan dirham. Right now in late January, £1 is worth 12.6 dirham. €1 is about 11 dirham. $1 is about 9.6 dirham. The dirham is a closed currency. That means you can't get it outside of Morocco. So you will need to get dirham while you're in Marrakesh. You can get it at the airport from ATMs, or you just wait until you're in Marrakesh, and there are lots of ATMs everywhere, even in the old city. However, speak to your bank in order to ask for the transaction fees and if you have to pay anything to take money out of ATM in Morocco. And remember, always let your bank convert the dirham to your local currency. For a 3-day trip, for example Saturday to Tuesday, you should be able to get flights for around £100. If you book a little bit in advance and you're a bit more flexible, you can probably make a good deal at around £80. And if you are booking way in advance, like we did back in July for a trip in January, you might be able to get tickets for around £60. However, this was during a Ryanair offer or promotion, so keep your eyes out for that. Alright, here's my first insider tip for you. If you fly from London to Marrakesh or from any other Western European city which is north of Morocco, please book a seat on the left side of the airplane. This means that when you fly into Marrakesh, you will see the city and the mountains in the background to your left, and on the way back also book the seat on the left side so you will have the same view. Of course, this is based on my experience and could change any time, but why not give it a go? Another tip is bring your own pen. Once you get off the board in Marrakesh, you will have to fill in some immigration forms. However, there are no pens provided, so people were really struggling finding a pen, so please bring your own. This brings us to mobile internet. So if you want to be reachable while you're in Morocco, or you want to stay up to date with your latest YouTube videos or Instagram pictures, you probably want to buy a SIM card right at the airport. We bought a SIM card from Orange, which gave us 5 GB of internet for €5. We found that the 5 GB were more than sufficient for our 3-day trip, and the connection was 4G and very good throughout Marrakesh. Once you leave the airport, you want to find a way to get to the hotel. However, I would recommend to book your transfer in advance. Your hotel or riad probably will offer a shuttle service. We did that and paid €18, which is quite expensive. The advantage was that a driver was waiting for us outside of the airport once we arrived, and he brought us right to the riad. However, please note that because the streets are quite narrow in Marrakesh, they will probably not be able to drive you right to the door. Someone from the yacht came out, picked us up and brought us to the yacht, which was super useful, and we probably wouldn't have found the yacht otherwise. So if this is your first time, I would definitely recommend you getting a shuttle through your yacht. If you do want to get a taxi, you shouldn't be paying more than 100 dirham. Please note that the taxi drivers will probably try to charge you more than that. You can try other sources like Skyscanner. Here I found a good deal for £10, so that would have been a little bit cheaper than the riad transfer, but again, then they won't drive you directly to your door, so please keep that in mind. Marrakesh is full of hidden gems. Most of the riads have beautiful courtyards, and also the museums have amazing tile work and architecture. However, no matter how good your orientation skills are, you probably will get lost. Marrakesh is a big maze with lots of street markets, people and mopeds. And please note that Google Maps won't be your hero in this case. Google Maps will only give you a rough idea where to go in the old city. I noticed that the locations were either not in the right place on the map, or my GPS wasn't strong enough to show me my exact location. Also, if you run around with your smartphone in your hand, locals will know that you're looking for a place. That means that they will try to give you directions. If you do that and you accept it, most of them will ask you for money. We even had some instances where people were trying to send us in the wrong direction, so please keep that in mind. Having said that, let's talk about my favorite attractions in Marrakesh. Dar El Bacha. This is a museum and costs 60 dirham per person. It has the most beautiful inner courtyard I've seen in Marrakesh, and if you go in the morning, you probably won't have a lot of crowds. Le Jardin's secret. If you want to have a break from the busy city and the crowded streets of Marrakesh, this place is basically a very small but beautiful garden where you can take one of the most iconic pictures of Marrakesh. The entrance fee is 50 dirham per person. Bahia Palace. For 70 dirham each, you can visit the most famous attraction of Marrakesh. The white courtyard is quite iconic. It has great detailed architecture. You can probably spend about 30 minutes to 1 hour here. Marrakesh has multiple souks all around the old town. While they all are basically the same, they all look different. So if you want to buy anything which is typical Moroccan, you can find it here. Please keep in mind that the people here will expect you to negotiate the price. If you really want to buy something, I would recommend that you have a look around, ask for the prices and see what they offer and start with. Then go back to the place which had the lowest starting price and try your best to get the price down. I read online that you probably can get it for a third of what they initially offer you. So there's a lot of room to get a good price and a good deal. Marrakesh Garden. This is one of the most famous gardens in Marrakesh. It is famous for the blue buildings in between the green plants and trees. However, please note that it's quite far away from all the other sites since it's in the new town. So while you can walk between the other attractions which we just talked about, you probably want to get a taxi if you travel from the old town to this side of the city. And it's quite expensive at 70 dirham per person. When we went, it was quite crowded around lunchtime and we spent about an hour or two in the garden. So let's talk about food. If you come to Marrakesh, you probably are excited for the food that this amazing city has to offer. In Marrakesh, you can find a broad range from street food to very fancy and expensive restaurants. When we went, we focused on the more modern and a bit more pricey restaurants in order to avoid any problems with our stomachs. However, if you look at TripAdvisor, you will find that there are lots of other restaurants which are reasonably priced and have very good reviews. One of our favorite restaurants was Nomad. Here we paid around 360 dirham for 2 main dishes, 2 sides and 2 soft drinks. The food was very good and tasteful. I usually don't eat couscous, but the couscous here was amazing, so I would definitely recommend this. Nomad is famous for the rooftop area, so if you have a sunny day and you want to have a nice dinner while taking a few stunning pictures, then come here. You will have a great view of the mountain and the city from here, but you will also see the busy streets of Marrakesh, as there is an open air area of the souks just in front of the restaurant. If you fancy a restaurant with a little bit of entertainment, come to Les Salama. I would suggest to come here early in the day and book a table. This place can get really busy. Ask for the belly dancing show and when it starts. This show doesn't cost anything extra. This is definitely an experience you don't want to miss. In this restaurant we had our most expensive meal. We paid around 660 dirham for 2 mains, 2 desserts and 1 soft drink and 2 virgin cocktails. The highlight of my trip was this restaurant, Dar Sharifa. This restaurant was the most difficult to find, but if you're patient and you make your way here, you will be rewarded with a beautiful inner courtyard. For 260 dirham, we had a typical Moroccan soup, which is called harissa, and a pasta main dish, plus 2 soft drinks. The quality was very good, but the service was a little bit slow. So if you come here, plan in some time, so you don't feel rushed. I believe they also have some candlelight dinners in the evening, so keep an eye out for that. Lastly, if you want to stay in your comfort zone, you can also go to McDonald's. In the new town, you will find McDonald's, and the Big Mac will cost you 36 dirham. If you take it as a meal, it will be 55 dirham. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about safety. While I was in Marrakesh, I didn't have any concerns while running running around with my camera or smartphone. Some of the darker alleyways are a little bit sketchy, but you probably make your way out of them quite quickly anyway. I asked a local in Marrakesh and he told me to avoid filming the faces of people. If you do want to film someone, they most likely will ask you for money. This is true especially in the Medina or the main square of Marrakesh. If you film one of the snakes or monkeys here, you will probably not get away without paying a few euros. Shop owners in the souks probably do not want you to film their shops. I was very proactive, asked them before I took the pictures or offered them a few euros in order to take the pictures I really wanted. Please keep in mind that if you go to the Medina, especially in the evening, people will be quite persistent trying to sell you things or offer you henna tattoos. So if you don't like that, please avoid that area. Okay, so how much money should you budget for your trip to Marrakesh? I've divided this in one-off items and ongoing costs per day. As mentioned at the beginning, you probably will look at flights for around 60 to 100 pounds, depending on the time you book and depending on if there are any promotions or deals going on at the moment. If you want to stay connected, you need to budget 5 euros for a new SIM card. A taxi to and from the airport will cost you around 100 dirham, but please keep in mind that if this is your first time to Marrakesh, you probably want to arrange a shuttle service to and from the Riyadh. So these are the one-off costs which I would budget for. Let's have a look at the costs per day. For entrance fees, you should calculate between 50 dirham and 70 dirham per person per attraction. Restaurants, depending on how fancy you want to go, you will spend around 100 dirham and 200 dirham for a main meal. Sides are around 40 dirham, soft drinks around 20 dirham. If you go to McDonald's, you will pay 55 dirham for a meal. You can buy bottled water from the shops in the souks or in the main square for around 10 dirham. Depending on how hungry you are throughout the day, I would budget around 100 dirham for snacks throughout the day. And this should be a reasonable budget for a day. Of course, excluding any shopping you might do in the souks. Please also note that this does not include the costs for your hotel. I will cover this in an upcoming video. Okay, and that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, please click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing so that you don't miss my next video. If you have any questions, any tips or feedback, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Many thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.